Here we go. Ayanna Jackson. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming in. This is a story that's kind of been in the hip hop community for a long time. You know, with the Tupac movie, your story was actually depicted in the movie. Did you actually see the movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get to that at the end. And I know that you have done a couple print interviews, and I think Vibe and The Source, but this is the first time you're actually talking on camera.
Correct.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start at the beginning of the story. When you first met Tupac at the club, how old were you?
I was 18, 19.
Okay. So talk about that night at Nell's nightclub.
I went to Nell's, and I was at a party. It was kind of, I guess, my first time there at the club, and I met him.
And when you met him, what exactly happened?
I was in the club. I was having some champagne, and he walked up behind me. I had some jeans on that night, and he placed his hands into the back pockets of my jeans, and I turned around, and he said, "I'm Tupac." I said, "I'm Ayanna," and we progressed out of the VIP into the nightclub to dance.
Okay. Now, before that night, were you a fan of Tupac's music?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Were you like just a casual fan, like you knew a song or two, or were you really into him as an artist?
I was a casual fan. I was more. I grew up. I'm 44, so I grew up on like R&B and stuff like that. So I would say I was a casual fan. I never followed a rapper or anything at that time.
Okay. So you guys meet at the club, you start to talk, you go into the little VIP area and you start dancing, and then what happens after that? I mean, what happens in the little VIP area?
Well, actually, when we were dancing, we weren't in VIP. We were kind of in the, I guess you would say the dance floor of the club at the time. So we were dancing, and they were playing his song, and he was smoking, and we were like dancing. We were dancing and we were kissing.
Okay. Now, I understand the kissing started to kind of get a little more serious.
Hmm.
So, what exactly happened on the dance floor of that club from your point of view?
On the dance floor that night, we were kissing. At one point, a friend of his gave him, I guess you would say, like a blunt at the time, or a joint or whatever, and gave him that. And as we were dancing and kissing, he we were kissing, and he lowered my head. I did not give fellatio that night on the dance floor, which everybody wants to know. Didn't happen.
Okay, but you did say in one of your interviews that he kind of moved your head down, and
Yes, he
before you
did.
know it,
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
so you did kind of
Yeah.
unknowingly give it to him, I guess.
Yeah, well, not unknowingly, maybe kissed it and came back up. It wasn't like a full blown fellatio session on the dance floor, no.
Okay, but when you realized that that was happening on the
Hmm.
dance floor in a public place, what went through your mind?
I'm going to pick my head back up.
Okay, were you upset about that, or were you cool with it?
No, it was all in good fun. I was not upset about it. No, not at all.
Okay, and originally Tupac was introduced to you by who at the club?
He was introduced to me by a friend of mine that I came to the club with.
Okay, now was this Nigel and Trevor, or somebody else?
No, it's someone else.
Okay, so how was Nigel and Trevor involved that night?
I never knew Nigel and Trevor.
Okay, you never knew them at all.
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you guys are messing around on the dance floor. You guys kiss. The whole little going down thing happens and it stops. So what happens next? Well, what does Pac tell you after that?
After that, he says to me, if I'm just trying to remember, because this is like 24 years ago. I'm trying to remember. He says to me, um, "Do you want to leave? Let's hang out." And I'm like, "Okay." And then we wind up leaving Nels.
Okay, and then you guys go back to the hotel.
Yes.
Then what happens?
And then we talk and we kiss and we have sex.
Okay, you guys have sex
Hmm.
once, multiple times.
Uh, we had sex maybe 2 or 3 times that night. Yes.
After you guys finish having sex, do you stay in the hotel or do you leave?
Yeah, I stay. Actually, he was in New York City filming Above the Rim at the time. So after, he said, you want to stay. He actually told me, he says, I have a 5 o'clock call for the following morning for the movie. And I said, well, actually, I have to go. I have to be to work. So he says, well, spend a night and then I'll call down and they'll give us a call. They'll send you back and, yeah. So I spent the night that night.
Okay, and then you left the next morning?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
After you and Pac part ways, um, I understand that you called him and left some voicemails.
Well, actually, he when I left that morning, he called downstairs the Meridian to the, I guess, the clerk or whatever. He called downstairs, called me a car. He says leave your number. So I left my number. I left, went home, went to work or whatever, and I called. Yes, I did. I called him. I called him. I did.
Okay, and were you leaving kind of sexy messages for him when you called?
No, I know. I called. I did call. No, well, I called once and I said, yeah, I had a great time. And that was it. Yeah.
Okay, so then after that night,
Hmm.
how much time passes before you guys decide to meet up again?
Well, his road manager at the time, his name was Charles Fuller. He called me. He's like, "Oh, well, you want to come? Pop wants to see you. You want to come hang out?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I would go to the city. Charles Fuller, would send a car to where I was living at the time, and I would leave work, get the car, go to the city, and just kind of hang out.
Okay, so you hung out with Pac multiple times before
Yeah.
that last time?
Yes. Hmm.
Ah, okay, I didn't know that. So from the first night that you guys met at Nell's,
Hmm.
how many more times did you guys hang out?
Oh my God. So we met Mills Sunday. I want to say 2 or 3 times before the actual incident. Yeah.
Okay, and when you would go hang out with him, what would happen?
Oh, I would go, we would have dinner. It would be Charles Fuller would call, send a car. I would come there into the city and we would just hang out and have a good time.
Okay, and you guys were having sex pretty much every time you met up?
No, we weren't.
You weren't.
No.
Okay, some of the times you met up?
Some of the times, mm, maybe no, no.
Okay. So then, the night of the incident,
Hmm.
break down what exactly happens.